Good evening, high school football fans. This is High School Football America for October 29th, 2015. I'm Jeff Fisher, host of the show and founder and editor-in-chief of High School Football America and highschoolfootballamerica.com. What a big night of Thursday night football tonight in the top 25. The High School Football America top 25 has 6 of the top 12 teams in action tonight, including the top 4 in the nation playing, and Allen looking for its 4th straight mythical High School Football America National Championship at home tonight, taking on Plano West. The Eagles looking for their 51st straight victory in a row. In Nevada, number 2, Bishop Gorman looking to finish undefeated during the regular season. Palo Verde is their competition tonight. A big one here in Southern California that I'm checking out. The St. John Bosco Braves, number 3 in the nation, taking on Orange Lutheran in a huge game in the Trinity League, one of the toughest leagues in the country. The Braves have won 19 straight. They broke the all-time Trinity League win streak last week with their 19th straight win. Orange Lutheran, a team that 5-3, but all 3 losses against nationally ranked teams. They've lost to Corona Centennial here in California, Mater Dei from the Trinity League, and De La Salle. So Chuck Peterson's group is battle-tested in big games, and if you were with us back in July when we had Jason Negro, the head coach at St. John Bosco, on the show, you heard him say that Orange Lutheran was the dark horse. That was the team that he feared the most, and they've got that triple threat offense that they run. It's hard to prepare for, and tonight the Braves should have their hands full. I've seen St. John Bosco twice in person this year so far in wins over Santa Margarita and Mater Dei. I've got to tell you, I've watched over 1,000 games in person during my lifetime, and I don't know that I've seen a better high school football team than this squad for the Braves this year. They are that good, and it'll be a great test tonight against a well-prepared Orange Lutheran team. Number 4 from Southern California, also in action tonight, Corona Centennial. Corona Centennial and St. John Bosco. Everybody's seeing them on a collision course in the CIF Southern section, the Pac-5 divisional playoffs, with the winner going on to the state tournament. It's going to be a dandy game tonight. The Huskies taking on Corona in a game in the Inland Empire in Southern California. You can check out all of the scores tonight from the top 25 and our state-by-state scoreboards in action already. They are powered by ScoreStream, our partners at ScoreStream. Just go to highschoolfootballamerica.com. In the navigation tab, you'll see scores. You'll be able to get to the top 25 scoreboard and the state-by-state scoreboards there. And if you're at a game tonight, why not download the ScoreStream app and score along with everybody else? It's a lot of fun. We mentioned that 6 top 25 teams in action tonight, and also in action, including the top 4, will be in Texas. Katy, the Tigers, they've slipped a little bit. Their strength of schedule is hurting them, but the Tigers have been good all year long. They're down to number 11. They got as high as number 9 this year. Tonight taking on Tompkins, and number 12, Cedar Hill, the team that they've played the last 3 times. Katy and Cedar Hill have played for the biggest classification Division II championship 3 years running. Cedar Hill, the Longhorns, in a big game tonight against Mansfield. Check that game out on our top 25 scoreboard. Every Sunday we come out with the top 25 before everyone else. For those of you new to High School Football America, we use an algorithm. It's not an opinion poll. We base it on something that we've been developing over the last 3 years that we think is better than all the other computer rankings that are out there. So be sure to check out the rankings that come out on Sunday. We release the SoCal Top 25 and the California 25 on Sunday. On Mondays, the other 25, that's teams 26 through 50, the teams knocking on the door. And also on Monday, we put out our regional rankings. So be sure to check all that out at highschoolfootballamerica.com. We mentioned our partner ScoreStream. Now the other partners, USA Today High School Sports. Check them out at usatodayhss.com. It's not just football. They've been doing the Super 25 rankings since the early 80s, but year-round, USA Today High School Sports popping out lots of great content. If you're a high school sports fan, even if it's not about football, you can get it all at usatodayhss.com. Also brought to you tonight by the TDI Razor folks at Southern Sport, the Debris Inhibitor Razur, keeping those pesky rubber pellets from field turf out of your shoes. And let me just tell you this, Joey Teichert, one of the founders of the Debris Inhibitor Razur, will be on the show a little bit later. NBC Sports, actually NBC News, has been doing a lot of sports news lately, and they've been looking into the artificial turf fields, the synthetic turf with the crumb rubber in it, the rubber pellets that we've been talking about for years here with the Debris Inhibitor Razur folks, keeping them out of your shoes. Well, NBC News has done, over the last year, a couple of stories about a larger than usual number, I would say, of cancer cases, specifically in soccer for goalies that are playing on synthetic turf. It all started out at the University of Washington with a coach there, and since they did the first story, NBC News, a year ago, they've now had 126 athletes come forward identified with some form of cancer. Soccer having the most out of the 126 with 109 players. Football has had 10. The EPA has not done any studies on this. There's a big call right now for a study to be done to see if something is definitely wrong within these fields. And there's over 12,000 fields in the country that are synthetic turf here in Los Angeles. The Los Angeles Independent School District has decided that it will not install any more artificial turfs. The Yale University released a study earlier this year saying that they looked at crumb rubber, and again, these are the pellets that are in there. So when you're looking at the field that looks like all grass, and in order to keep it kind of nice and soft, these pellets are filled in there to make the field playable and safer. The Yale University study found 96 chemicals in its crumb rubber, with over half of them being called toxic, having some sort of toxicity to it. And out of the half that is toxic, they say 20% probably carry carcinogens, and it's just a story that's got to be looked at. Obviously, turf fields are cheaper, especially out here in Southern California, with the drought being what it is. There's a way to obviously get more use out of it. You can play more sports on the turf, but it's an interesting debate going on right now out there, saying, are these safe? And the Debris Inhibitor Razur, while now Joey and company, they are not scientists, and these the Debris Inhibitor Razur is not designed to protect you from any harm that can come if there is in fact carcinogenic stuff that can cause cancer in the fields. The TDI Razur, all it does is it keeps those pellets, which by the way are just a pain in the butt whenever I'm on the field. They're in my shoes. I'm going to tell you right now, I've got sneakers on with socks, and in those socks there's probably a couple of pellets in there because you have to pick them out. So the TDI Razur folks do a great job of making sure those pellets stay where they are. The crumb rubber stays on the field. Trust me, they get dragged all over the place. If you've never been around an artificial surface right now with the crumb rubber, you don't know how messy it is. It gets everywhere. So Joey Teichert going to come on and talk about how the debris inhibitor can help in keeping those pellets where they belong, which is on the field. Also on the show, by the way, I want to mention, have a great guest from Ohio, the number 8 ranked St. Edward Eagles. Another big game this week against their arch rival St. Ignatius. But on the show tonight, Tom Lombardo, who took over the program after Rick Fanati left at the end of last year after winning the Division I championship. He took a job at the University of Michigan football program. And we're going to have Tom Lombardo, who has his team at 8-1, and they have played, beyond a shadow of a doubt, the toughest schedule in the nation, and Tom Lombardo is going to talk about that. Now back to our partners, two others, Echo and Crossover. Echo, you get instant replay on your sidelines, giving you an edge in your coaching. The grease board, the chalkboard, that's gone. Basically, it's show instead of tell. You get to show your players 8 seconds after the play is done exactly what they did right or wrong. It's a great way to coach, and it's a great way to have a competitive edge. You can learn more by going to echo1612.com, or just go to High School Football America, click on the banner ad to go to Echo 1612. Also brought to you tonight by Crossover, with a K, crossover.com/football. Get a free 5-minute demo. Crossover will break down your game film for you. They will tag it. They will do everything that you do wasting your time on a Sunday away from your family. They will do that for you, and it's cost effective. It's great. You need to check it out. Every coach that I've turned on to Crossover has loved it. They do a wonderful job. You need to check them out. Crossover.com, crossover with a K /football, crossoverwithak.com/football for your free 5-minute demo. Okay, taking our first break. When we come back, we're going to talk St. Edward Eagle football. Tom Lombardo going to join us on the line to talk about what's been an incredible year so far for the Eagles. 8-1, number 8 in the nation in the latest High School Football America Top 25. That and more. You're listening to High School Football America on the Artist First Radio Network. Instant replays on a high school football sideline? Seriously? Yes, the future is here with Echo 1612's Instant Replay Sideline System. Echo's cutting-edge technology was the first to the market 2 years ago. Echo delivers instant replay to your sideline on an iPad within seconds of a play being finished so that you can make tomorrow's coaching changes today. This NFHS-approved product may be the biggest change in high school football since the invention of the helmet. Coaches, you'll gain a competitive edge by adding Echo 1612's Instant Replay Sideline System to your coaching toolbox. How cool is this? The Echo Instant Replay Sideline System works with both your current booth and end zone cameras, plus, and this is an important point, Echo works without any cellular connection, data plans, or internet. The list of high school football programs using Echo 1612 system is growing daily, meaning your opponent may already have a game time advantage. You don't want to be left out, do you? The Echo 1612 advantage is simple. Echo plus an iPad equals instant replay on your sideline that improves your game planning. Seriously. You'll be making coaching adjustments in real time, not the day after. Except no copycats, Echo 1612 is the best on the market. Echo 1612's cutting-edge technology helps you make tomorrow's adjustments today. Learn more at echo1612.com. Field turf rubber pellets, be gone. The Debris Inhibitor Razur is a seamless outer sock that was specifically designed to keep crumb rubber and other fine debris from artificial or grass-playing surfaces out of an athlete's shoes and socks, thus keeping such debris out of gym bags and locker rooms. The Razur, spelled R-A-Z-U-R, is favored by athletes who want the look of tape, by trainers who no longer have the time to tape only for show, and by moms who no longer want that crumb rubber in the house. The Debris Inhibitor Razur is made in America. It's 70% nylon and 30% spandex, making it extra lightweight and very durable, and it's backed by a 1-year performance guarantee. The Debris Inhibitor Razur covers just the right amount of a player's shoe while keeping those shoelaces tight. It's fully customizable, machine washable, and more importantly, it's easy to get on and off. The Debris Inhibitor Razur comes in 23 colors, and sizes are youth, medium, large, and for that extra big foot, extra large. Founded in 2010 by former University of Mississippi All-SEC football player Carl Hoppy Langley III, Southern Sport Inc. created the Debris Inhibitor to improve athletic performance by protecting athletes, allowing them to look and feel better with technically advanced products engineered with superior fabric construction, patented design, and proven innovation. Get a discount on your order by using the High School Football America code HSFA when you order at TDIRazur.com. That's Razor spelled with a U at TDIRazur.com. Listen up, football coaches. You need to check out a new scouting film solution called Crossover. That's Crossover with a K. Crossover Intelligence for Football gives you the edge you need to defeat your opponents. They not only break down and analyze scouting games for you, but they give you interactive tendency reports to diagnose your opponent's strengths and weaknesses. Crossover is your personal advanced scout, accessible from any mobile device or PC, and even integrates with your existing film platform like Huddle. Just transfer your scouting film from your existing video exchange service to the Crossover website And in as little as 12 hours, your film will be completely indexed and tagged. Each play will become its own clip, allowing you to search the footage for anything you'd like. Their interactive down and distance reports will let you visualize your opponent's play calls in every situation or formation. Crossover Intelligence will give you the scouting edge you need to defeat your opponents. Go to crossover.com/football to sign up for a quick 5-minute demo to see how it can work for your team. That's Crossover with a K, crossover.com/football. High school sports fans, check out USA Today High School Sports, America's leading platform for high school football. The Super 25 team rankings and expert American Family Insurance All-USA list have been determining the best of the best nationally and locally for more than 3 decades. Be sure to check out USA Today, HSS.com, the best in the game for everything high school football. This portion of High School Football America brought to you by USA Today High School Sports. Check out the Super 25 every Monday by going to usatodayhss.com. Well, speaking of the Super 25, as we said at the top of the show, we're going to have a conversation with one of the teams that is in the mix for a national championship. Things have to break right, but hey, what a schedule they played, as I told you at the beginning of the show. St. Edward out of Ohio has played arguably one of the toughest schedules in the country. Tom Lombardo is the new head coach there in his first year. He's not a stranger to St. Ed. He was an assistant coach there a while back, but he has taken over the program that Rick Finati had put on the map with a couple of championships. They're the defending Division I champ, and Coach Lombardo is on the line right now to talk about what's been probably a pretty fun year, but also a little taxing with that schedule. Coach, welcome to the show.
Hi, Jeff. Thanks for having me.
Well, it's great to have you on here, and I don't want to kind of put the cart before the horse. I talked about the schedule, but let's talk about your journey back to St. Edward. You left there for a little bit of time, and this year's been an interesting year. I mean, you're offered a job at Massillon. You say no for family reasons, and then you get to come back to a place that you know very, very well. Tell us a little bit about the journey and what brought you to the decision to come back to St. Ed.
Yeah, I back in 2002, I was an assistant here for 5 years, and my father-in-law, John Gibbons, who's a kind of a legendary high school coach, was the head coach at that time, and we really had a great run there. Lost in a state final and lost in a state semifinal. We coached some real great players, a bunch that went on to play big time football, and a couple played in the NFL, and Alex Boone still playing for the 49ers out your way, and Haruki Nakamura played a few years in the NFL. So, then when things changed and we went to, I had the opportunity to coach Highland. That opportunity came up, and kind of they were down a little bit, and we built that up, and football's doing well there, and I'm real proud of that. In fact, Highland just built an $11 million football stadium complex on their campus. That's just awesome. So I really feel that my 8 years there, I think that's the crowning, if you will, achievement. Made a Final Four there in Division II and another Final 8. So had a real nice tenure there, and really was enjoying my time and Massillon, just 4 kids, and we live on the east side of Cleveland, and it was certainly a great opportunity that I had many sleepless nights trying to figure out, and was going to do it, and some little bug told me that it just wasn't the right time to do it, and was going to stay at Highland and kind of enjoy that stadium and go from there. And then Rick Finati ends up getting an opportunity at Michigan, which no one really foresaw that may happen. And the next thing you know, I was in the running here for the job here, and being here and being from Cleveland and where I lived, and going to a Catholic school myself, which was a Holy Cross school, and having 2 boys now that are one's in 8th and one's in 10th grade that would get a chance to go here. Those are really the deciding factors. I believe in the education. I believe in Catholic education. I believe what the school stands for, and I think when you put all those things together, coupled with the great football program, coaching at the highest level. I think that's the reason.
Kind of a little bit of a no-brainer there. It's great how the universe works, isn't it? Though a lot of opportunities for you, and you're kind of taking it by the throat. Tom Lombardo is the new head coach at St. Edward. New only from the standpoint of this year. Got enough games under the belt in 2015 to say he's no longer the new guy. But one of the things that I like to do here on the show, and Rick did it when he was back on in 2011. He was on the show, but I'd love to kind of talk a little bit about what you said there at the end. Obviously a great program, but St. Edward tradition is pretty good in all sports out there. Can you describe it for a national audience, what it's like, to be a coach within a program that prides itself on, like you said, the student athlete and being very good in sports?
Well, that's what, the mix. I mean, one of the pillars of the school is excellence, and I think we have excellence across the academic, forum, most importantly. Right now in football, we have 46 kids playing in college at you're talking Big Ten to Ivy League to Division III, and I think there's like 4 captains, Deontay Gibson at Northwestern, and Orlowski at West Virginia, and a couple others that are. It's awesome, that these kids, what they get from here, and then go on to be the leaders that they become. The wrestling program is, nationally known with, I think we have 31 or something state titles in wrestling in Ohio, and I don't know how many national championships. Certainly probably close to 8 or 10 of those, and I may be understating that. I'm not even sure of the number. And Coach Urbis, who's kind of taken over that from the Howard Ferguson days, is just done just a marvelous job. A humble guy. He coaches our freshman football, so just the two sports work closely together. And then through the years, knocking on the door for the state title there, and once in the 70s, once in the 80s, a couple times here in the early 2000s, and Rick was able to do a great job and finally bring those titles home here. So, but yeah, in the end, it does, that's great. That's icing on it, but it's more the development of the kid and where they get to go after that and what they do beyond that. And it's just nice to see that happening on the field as well as off the field. So, and going with the schedule, when I might have been a little naive taking the job because I didn't realize how good these teams were. I mean, you sort of, I wasn't really looking at teams out of state. I mean, you hear of the main ones and everything, but I wasn't paying too much attention at Highland because you're in your own little world there. And I'm like, oh, okay, we got a couple Florida teams, a couple New Jersey teams, and then I'm like, whoa. You start researching it. I'm like, what the heck is going on here? But I got to give, we lost 12 Division I players, and these kids, especially the seniors, with the transition in the coach, and although we've kept a lot of the staff intact, but that's something. And these kids have just responded in a way that's unbelievable. I mean, to be 8-1, if you would have told me that at the beginning after I studied these teams and how good they were and the type of players they had, I simply, our goal was simply qualify for the playoffs. If we got in, we figured that with the schedule we played, we'd be it would be we'd be a tough out. But to be where we are, to clinch the number 1 seed in our region, and playing our biggest rival now this week, coming up St. Ignatius, and it's just an awesome spot to be in, and I can't say how proud I am of the kids. After coming off defending last year, but losing seniors that were just outstanding football players, 12. Division I players. Yeah,
you had a lot of touch points there. You remind me, Scott Meyer out here in Southern California at Servite was in the same boat. I said, did you really ever look at the schedule? I know why you wanted the job, but really, did you ever think? I mean, you had the same sort of thing. Tom Lombardo's on the line tonight, St. Edward in Lakewood, Ohio. And let's talk about taking over the program. Obviously, you knew the program, but you have your own style. You've been away long enough to develop that head coaching philosophy that you like. What were some of the things that you did when you took over and through the off season and then in fall camp that you feel brought you to this point, and kind of what's the thing that the MO that makes it a Tom Lombardo program at this point?
Yeah, it's tough to say, Jeff, on that. I'm friends with Rick. In fact, he went to grade school with my wife in Euclid, Ohio there, and they kind of grew up a couple streets away.
Wow.
So it's a small world, and so I just through talking to him, and he's real busy at obviously doing his thing at Michigan, but keeping Pete Pappas as the defensive coordinator and Dan Scanlon as the O-line coach, who we coached together when I was back, and a bunch of other guys that are coaching, a couple former players and students of mine T.J. Gallagher, Nate Oliver, Marty Newman came back, and a coach that coached, back in 8-10 years ago is back as special teams coordinator, and Dan Wakes. So it doesn't feel, it's new, but it doesn't feel as new, because you've sort of been here. And I've had actually I was a head basketball coach when I first started coaching at university school, and then I was a head football coach at Lake Catholic, where my father-in-law, when he left there to come to St. Ed's, I was the head coach there, and we won a state championship in 2001 in Division III in Ohio, which is the third highest division. And then went to Highland, which was Division II, and now so I think all the experiences that when you come together, I was a coordinator on sort of both sides of the ball in my career, and did the head coaching thing, that you kind of get a broad, you get a broad perspective on a lot of things, and understand that you got to let people do their jobs and work at it and hire good people around you. And we certainly had that here from what Rick did, with his staff, and things just sort of continued. It's mostly, I think, that the kids have sort of responded well and sort of, took the ownership. I mean, that's about what it is anyways. It's the kids out there competing and playing. And I think we gave a lot of the same messages and just talked about, the great tradition. And look, whether I'm here and the next one comes, and St. Ed's is going to be St. Ed's, they're going to be solid and great in football and all sports and academically. So I'm just glad to be part of it.
Got the reins of the program going in the right direction. Tom Lombardo on the line. St. Edward High School, you're listening to High School Football America, brought to you by USA Today High School Sports Tonight. And you mentioned a while back there that you guys lost 12 Division I players, and certainly I'd love to get every kid's name on the roster. But why don't you talk a little bit about, and start on the offense, on some of the kids that you feel have really done a wonderful job, whether it's leadership, on the field performance, to get this team to 8-1 going into St. Ignatius.
Yeah, I'll kind of point at three areas. Number one, running back Cole Guest. He's an Indiana recruit, and it's just a blend of strength and power. He's not real tall. He's probably 5'8", 5'9", about 190 pounds, but just he gets in the open field, he runs away from you. When you try and tackle him, he can kind of run through you, and it's hard to get him down because he's got great balance. So that was nice having that back, coupled with, three returning solid starters and a half a starter on the O-line that played on the state championship team last year. But the biggest key for what's new, I think, is Jimmy Keefe, the quarterback, who this is his first year starting, but as a senior, and it's just what a wonderful game manager, an accurate passer, very, very intelligent, makes decisions on sort of the read option plays we run, as well as is capable of throwing the ball when the looks present itself. And he's just had an outstanding year for a first-year starter, going against the schedule he's gone against, with four new starting receivers. So that's kind of to sum up our offense. That's they just blended well together, and I think you got to look at the quarterback to say, he's composed all through the off season. The system's similar; it's not exactly the same, and the terminology was changed a little bit, and they just responded. Like it hasn't really missed a beat, from what I could see. So, and I think just us, the coaches on the offensive side working together before, even in the past, helped smooth that over a little bit.
And then you win championships with defenses. So let's hear who the kids are that you're going to be counting on to bring home maybe another Division I title.
Yeah, well, you got to start at our D line with Mike O'Malley. He's our defensive end, and he doesn't have a scholarship yet, but he should. I mean, he's kind of on the 1AA, 2 range of but he's just he's been going against some great O-linemen and really, really playing a high level of football. Cal Reynolds is another guy that's back from last year's team on the D line that is doing a great job. All three linebackers are new. We play about 6 linebackers actually, kind of rotating guys who's sort of the hot hand who's having a better week. So it's sort of great competition at that position. And we actually have 3 new secondary guys. Tony Butler's back, and he's a big recruit. But the 2 safeties and Mel Jackson, Kyle Fallon, and Liam Coyne at safeties are brand new guys that are not the biggest guys in the world, but have just been playing outstanding football. So there's I think 8 new starters on defense. Believe it or not, So the staff there has done just a whale of a job in preparing these guys to go against the schedule week in and week out.
And brutal. I mean, I think I counted it at one, or right now, I guess, 5 of the teams on the schedule have appeared in one of the National Ranking Service's top 25. I mean, you weren't joking. There's no cupcakes on there. So let's talk about when you have kids, and these are still high school kids. Let's face it. I mean, there's no doubt about that. But when you're playing a couple of teams from Jersey, a couple of teams from Florida, and very good programs, and you still have the Molars in state. I guess you had Gilman earlier from Maryland, and St. Ignatius coming up. How have you balanced that? How do you keep the kids, these teenagers, aware that it's a tough schedule, but you really got to be using the coach speak, one game at a time sort of thing. How have you done it?
Well, Jeff, you asked earlier what's one thing I've maybe put on the program or brought to it, and it's that maybe just humble opinion of yourself and knowing that it really is not even one game, but one practice, one period of practice at a time. We really have not looked at it. And I'm telling you, it was mostly from naivety because, I didn't realize how great these teams were. So I kind of was just kind of coming in and I wasn't nervous about it because I didn't know, and I was just trying to just get to know the kids and, install a new system and kind of go from the basics and the fundamentals. And then, the way we responded in that first game against Gilman to win that 14-13, and it was a bloodbath there in West Virginia. And, each week they got more confidence. And what I really learned a lot about them is, we went to St. Joseph Regional in New Jersey. We lost. We had a chance to win. We missed a 2-point conversion at the end to tie the game, then got the onside kick with a minute to go. And all we needed was we have a pretty good kicker. We needed maybe a 15, 20-yarder to get the ball down around the 30. And, we would have had a shot to make it to win the game at the buzzer. No guarantee, of course, but we would have had a shot. And we lost 22-20. And, the kids sort of just refocused so well, and knowing the next task at hand was the number 1 team in Ohio at the time, Cincinnati Elder. So, and then from there it was just a run of, then Bergen Catholic, and then, Cocoa, Florida, and then mainland Florida. It was like, and then you looked at these teams and saw the D linemen and quarterbacks that they had. It was like, so we really never, we just didn't think, it was kind of like we were the underdog in these things in our own mentality in terms of preparing, or at least I know in my mind I felt that way, and so we just kept our nose to the grindstone and just found a way to win, and we found a way to win really close games or pull away at the end in some close games, and then in this last game, Moeller, we went down 17-0 in the first quarter and then scored 49 unanswered. So. They've done it a whole bunch of ways, in neck-and-neck games we came back, games we had to hold on to win in the fourth quarter. The offense has stepped up at times, the defense has made huge stops at times, the special teams have made plays in terms of a couple kick returns in crucial times. So I couldn't pinpoint one thing. It's just been a kind of a team effort all the way around there. Of guys kind of stepping up and embracing the challenge.
Yeah, and folks, just so you know, and Coach, we do an algorithm that kind of formulates everything out, and especially strength of schedule. You guys, 50-18 with the teams you've played so far. No one in America has played a better record.
Well, Jeff, I've been saying this, and I'm understating it a little bit because I don't know. I think we have the toughest schedule in the country. I mean, I don't know if there's a rhythm or an algorithm, like you said, or a way to test this, but 6 of the 9 teams we played have been rated number 1 in their state at some point this year in their respective division. That's Florida, New Jersey, and Maryland, and Ohio. I mean, so I can't imagine that, and I don't know enough around, Texas and everything else with the type of, but I can't believe that, anybody else has played week in and week out this type of schedule, that we played. In retrospect now, and of course I'm not dwelling on it too much because we're in the middle of it, but it was sort of about like after the mainland game, I'm like, I think we just did something pretty special, but we were just so busy just doing it that we weren't even kind of thinking about it, but I think we'll look back and say, wow, but of course the main prize is still down the road. We want to, we want to win that 15th game in Ohio, and that's the biggest thing. That's been the goal all along.
Yeah, well, we put the algorithm together back in 2012, and it's been pretty darn accurate, and I feel pretty confident in agreeing with you because we do believe you've played the toughest one, and it's only going to get better because if you make that run, like you said, to the finals, you're just going to play a lot of teams with good records there too. Now you have a rivalry game, and we've talked about it before here on the show. St. Ignatius, it doesn't matter right now. They haven't maybe had the season everybody everybody thought, but now they're good, and you got the playoffs in the offing. So tell us about this. Is this a good thing to have a game this tough prior to going into the playoffs? How do you view this game? And talk a little bit about the rivalry as you know it.
Well, it's the greatest rivalry, in Cleveland for sure, I think, and probably in Ohio now. I mean, you got Massillon, McKinley, and you got pick what you got a bunch of real good ones and long ones, but the intensity of this one, the schools are just a couple miles apart, and the tradition of St. Ignatius with 11 state titles in Ohio. Coach Kyle just, is one of the best coaches in the country, and his record speaks for itself. And what he's done and the way they do it, it's just, we have a lot of respect for him. And throw the records, they have great players. They might have started off a little sluggish and had some injuries and lost a game that maybe they shouldn't have, but they just beat St. Xavier down in Cincinnati. Moeller, they were up 38-14 and kind of let them back in the game and ended up losing 55-52. They could score points. They have a great quarterback, a couple great receivers, a lineman going to Notre Dame, and their defense is getting better each and every week. So, they have to win actually to get into the playoffs, I think, and that even makes it more fun and exciting. We're in, but obviously we'd like to, see them not in if we can help that. It's just. It's just going to be a great game. If you just, it's something you should experience. Certainly if you live in Northeast Ohio, because the two schools and the rivalry and traditions of each just make it an exciting event.
Yeah, and Ohio football this year has been darn good, whether it's up your area, down in the Cincinnati area. I don't know how much handicapping you do, and what I mean by that is looking ahead to the run you're going to have to make and who you have to go through. I know it's all, a crapshoot at this point, but, maybe just talk in general how good Division I is this year in Ohio for people, outside of the state that are listening to really understand how good it's going to be and how talented you'll have to be to win a Division I title.
Well, I'll tell you, Jeff. A lot of people don't know that. In fact, before the game, talking to the Florida mainland, he's like, he was talking about spring ball and how they have practices all through the month of May and 20-some workouts, and they play a game at the end, three-quarter. And he goes, well, what do you guys do? I said, we don't have spring ball. We're not even allowed to play coach the kids at that time. And he couldn't believe it. He said, you don't have anything in the spring? I said, no, we get 10 helmet practice days in the summer before August 1st, and that's all we have. No contact at any of those times or anything like that. And, he couldn't believe it. So given, that, I think Ohio football, of course I'm biased, but, there's Florida and there's Texas and Pennsylvania and California, no doubt, Georgia. There's some great areas of football, but top to bottom, division to division, and New Jersey I found a respect for. Those, that Catholic League in New Jersey, boy, oh boy, those teams are just, tough as hell. But top to bottom, boy, I find it hard to pass up on Ohio, for football. I mean, and what it means to the small towns in Ohio, and then of course the big programs are what get the attention. But you go to a Coldwater game down in southern Ohio there, and Maria Stein local, and it's just the town shuts down. I mean, it's just what you read about, and it's just great football. So. I have a ton of respect for Ohio and its football, and I think, we kind of prove it by, taking on some of these national teams through the years, and sort of, every time I've talked to a couple of them, they say, it's the most physical football, that we played, especially some of the southern tems, and say that, and I think New Jersey, kind of could say the same thing, and I know. Feeling that, you got the speed of Florida sort of, now that we've seen it this year, I'm kind of becoming more of an expert on this, seeing, how great athletes those guys were from Florida and how physical the teams were from New Jersey, and then playing the Moelers and the X's and Elders and Ignatius and, the top, and the mentors, public schools in the area that are really, really good, and some others. You just never know. Someone, Hilliard Davidson out of Columbus has been there for a couple titles, and they kind of play a grinded out style of football. So, you got to take it one at a time. I look at it this way to play. You got the one game, make it a 4-game sort of thing. Your game and then the game of your opponent, and then make that a bracket and just try and get through that, and then make another 4-game bracket and try and get through that, and If you do that, you're in the finals. And that's about the most I'll look ahead on it. So we kind of work that way, and I really do believe, and it's not a cliche to say, it is one game, one practice, and just one rep at a time. You just have to you got to do the ordinary things extraordinary, in my opinion, to be a consistent football team. And our kids have bought into that this year, and I think that's what's been the difference.
Well, Tom, thank you for coming on the show. I'll tell you what, when you retire from coaching, with all this knowledge you've gained across the country, you need to go into the media and become, because we're all idiots. We need somebody with some experience there. You need to come over to our side here. You've done a good job.
Jeff, you give me a house next door to you in Southern California, I'll take you up on it.
Okay, agreed. Done deal. Well, Tom, thank you so much for joining us, and continued success during not only this season, but your time there at St. Ed. And best of luck in the postseason.
Thank you very much, Jeff. It was a pleasure talking to you.
Very welcome. Taking a break, coming back with more. You're listening to High School Football America, brought to you by USA Today High School Sports. Instant replays on a high school football sideline? Seriously? Yes, the future is here with Echo 1612's Instant Replay Sideline System. Echo's cutting-edge technology was the first to the market 2 years ago. Echo delivers instant replay to your sideline on an iPad within seconds of a play being finished so that you can make tomorrow's coaching changes today. This NFHS-approved product may be the biggest change in high school football since the invention of the helmet. Coaches, you'll gain a competitive edge by adding Echo 1612's Instant Replay Sideline System to your coaching toolbox. How cool is this? The Echo Instant Replay Sideline System works with both your current booth and end zone cameras, plus, and this is an important point, Echo works without any cellular connection, data plans, or internet. The list of high school football programs using Echo 1612 system is growing daily, meaning your opponent may already have a game time advantage. You don't want to be left out, do you? The Echo 1612 advantage is simple. Echo plus an iPad equals instant replay on your sideline that improves your game planning. Seriously. You'll be making coaching adjustments in real time, not the day after. Except no copycats, Echo 1612 is the best on the market. Echo 1612's cutting-edge technology helps you make tomorrow's adjustments today. Learn more at echo1612.com. Field turf rubber pellets, be gone. The Debris Inhibitor Razur is a seamless outer sock that was specifically designed to keep crumb rubber and other fine debris from artificial or grass playing surfaces out of an athlete's shoes and socks, thus keeping such debris out of gym bags and locker rooms. The Razur, spelled R-A-Z-U-R, is favored by athletes who want the look of tape, by trainers who no longer have the time to tape only for show, and by moms who no longer want that crumb rubber in the house. The Debris Inhibitor Razur is made in America. It's 70% nylon and 30% spandex, making it extra lightweight and very durable, and it's backed by a 1-year performance guarantee. The Debris Inhibitor Razur covers just the right amount of a player's shoe while keeping those shoelaces tight. It's fully customizable, machine washable, and more importantly, it's easy to get on and off. The Debris Inhibitor Razur comes in 23 colors, and sizes are youth, medium, large, and for that extra big foot, extra large. Founded in 2010 by former University of Mississippi All-SEC football player Carl Hoppy Langley III, Southern Sport Inc. created the Debris Inhibitor to improve athletic performance by protecting athletes, allowing them to look and feel better with technically advanced products engineered with superior fabric construction, patented design, and proven innovation. Get a discount on your order by using the High School Football America code HSFA when you order at TDIRazur.com. That's Razor spelled with a U at TDIRazur.com. Listen up, football coaches. You need to check out a new scouting film solution called Crossover. That's Crossover with a K. Crossover Intelligence for Football gives you the edge you need to defeat your opponents. They not only break down and analyze scouting games for you, but they give you interactive tendency reports to diagnose your opponent's strengths and weaknesses. Crossover is your personal advanced scout, accessible from any mobile device or PC, and even integrates with your existing film platform like Huddle. Just transfer your scouting film from your existing video exchange service to the Crossover website And in as little as 12 hours, your film will be completely indexed and tagged. Each play will become its own clip, allowing you to search the footage for anything you'd like. Their interactive down and distance reports will let you visualize your opponent's play calls in every situation or formation. Crossover Intelligence will give you the scouting edge you need to defeat your opponents. Go to crossover.com/football to sign up for a quick 5-minute demo to see how it can work for your team. That's crossover with a K, crossover.com/football. High school sports fans, check out USA Today High School Sports, America's leading platform for high school football. The Super 25 team rankings and expert American Family Insurance All-USA list have been determining the best of the best nationally and locally for more than 3 decades. Be sure to check out USA Today, HSS.com, the best in the game for everything high school football. This portion of High School Football America brought to you by USA Today. Find out who's in the Super 25 every Monday at usatodayhss.com. Time to bring in another sponsor right now. Joey Teichert, one of the founders of the Debris Inhibitor Razur, made by Southern Sport, the American-made product that keeps those pesky rubber pellets from field turf out of your shoes. It's also known as crumb rubber. It's what they fill the artificial turf with right now. And recently, NBC News has been running a couple of stories about some soccer players that are developing cancer, and specifically goalies. And they believe there could be a direct correlation between the goalies playing on these field turf surfaces and the crumb rubber in it. Yale University has done a study recently that says that there's 96 chemicals in crumb rubber, and over half of those chemicals are toxic, and 20% of those have a high probability of carcinogenic material that still stays into the crumb rubber. And while Joey is not a scientist, and he is not here saying that the Debris Inhibitor Razur keeps you from getting cancer, if in fact that's what's happening, he's here though to say that there's a way to keep those pellets off of the skin, and definitely keep them on the field instead of going back into the locker rooms in the home. And Joey's on the line right now to talk about that. Welcome to the show, Joey.
Hey, Jeff. How are you, man?
I'm good, and it's always good to talk to you. You've been a sponsor of ours here at High School Football America for 4 years, and we've spent that time talking about keeping those rubber pellets, the crumb rubber, out of shoes. And of course, once they're in the shoes, they're traveling into locker rooms, they're traveling home. The crumb rubber gets everywhere, and the Debris Inhibitor Razur is designed to stop the pellets from getting into your shoes and being carried around. It has nothing to do with the topic we're going to talk about right now, which is cancer. It's not a product that stops that. It's just keeping the pellets away. But you obviously have been, integrally involved and know a lot about field turf and all that. So we thought you'd be great to have on the show here. About a year ago, to set the scene for the listeners, NBC News did a story on crumb rubber at the University of Washington. A soccer coach there, a girls soccer coach, had indicated that a couple of players had contracted cancer, and kind of felt there was some sort of a connection between the crumb rubber and all these girls putting all this time in on field turf and practicing and playing on field turf. And at the end of that story, they put out a call saying, hey, if anybody else has a soccer background or has played on field turf, contact us to let us know, especially if you're dealing with cancer. And 126 athletes have now been identified as having cancer and having played soccer on artificial turf. And out of those 126, 109 actually played soccer, 10 had played football. Calls have been made to the EPA saying, please, look into this. Is this safe? There's about 12,000 fields, artificial turfs with crumb rubber in America. And that challenge has not been accepted yet by the EPA. They haven't really made a comment. In July, Yale University releases a study saying there's 96 chemicals in crumb rubber, over half being toxic, with 20% probably carrying carcinogenic material in it. And we thought, it would be great to bring Joey in here to talk a little bit about this. Again, Joey is not a scientist. The TDI Razur not developed to address this problem. It's just strictly to keep those rubber pellets on the field turf. But Joey, obviously you guys as a company saw a need for your product several years ago. So let's talk a little bit about what the debris inhibitor does.
Anybody that's walked out on any of those artificial surface fields and knows what it's like to have the crumb rubber pellets get down in your shoes, and then next thing you know, you bring it home and you get in your car and it's all littered all over the carpet. You can't get it out, and then you bring it home and it looks like you have maybe a rodent problem or something along those lines. And I think that's where we're able to make a big difference is not in dragging having the crumb rubber come with you wherever you're going.
Mm-hmm.
If you use a razor, then you're obviously able to keep the crumb rubber on the fields where it's supposed to be.
And just let's explain to the people that are hearing your voice for the first time and don't know what the Debris Inhibitor Razur is, kind of give the little elevator there on how players, and not just football players, use it.
Yeah, well, we've got two versions, the TDI Razur and then also the TDI Razur MP, and both products are really, for lack of a better term, and over the they're patented over the shoe sock that will kind of has the look of spatting tape without having the expense of spatting tape. It's reusable, so you can just throw it right back in the washing machine and dryer and reuse it over and over again. And some people say we may have made them too good, where they last too long, but it's part of that good quality, made in the USA product.
Yeah, and people that kids that have used it have told me personally how much they like it, and you do have to get me some of those multi-purposes for when I'm out there on the sidelines. I'm tired of these things. Trish gets a little upset too when they're dragged around the house. But let's go. We got to turn this a little serious now, because it's always been about as we've said before, kids love to spat. This is a way to lower than the cost of tape and all that. But now here you have this report. NBC News has kind of been beating the drum for about a year. The EPA has not kind of gotten anything to them. They have not kind of looked into it. You got this Yale University study saying there's a lot of chemicals in the crumb rubber. So from your perspective, I mean you're knee deep, so to speak, in crumb rubber and preventing it. I mean, what comes to your mind when you see this? And I know you're looking to take some action here in the near future. But what are some of your thoughts when you hear these reports?
Yeah, I guess it's just the uncertainty of nobody really having a firm stance on it, and I'm not really here to I guess give a medical opinion or anything else like that. I just know that from if there's any doubt about any of the bacteria, if there's any bacteria or carcinogens or anything, then obviously the important part of that would be keeping it out of your shoes, keeping it out of your car, keeping it out of your home. And that's what the debris inhibitor was designed for, is to keep crumb rubber or rocks or pebbles or anything else that would make impede a player's athletic ability because of comfort. That's what the debris inhibitor was designed for that. Now with everything going on, with all the carcinogen studies and everything else, I think that'll wash out on its own. I think there was a study that was just commissioned this past June. That's a 3-year study to take a look at all that. But ultimately, regardless if it is a carcinogen or not, the doggone stuff's uncomfortable whenever you get it in your shoes.
Yeah.
And that's what we're here to keep that from. We're here to show that there's an affordable, reusable way of a product that's made in the United States that can keep that stuff out of your home, out of your car, and more importantly, out of your shoes.
Yeah, let's face it. If it is, if there is something bad to it, you don't want it dragged all over the place, and that's what will be prevented. Joey Teichert on the line tonight from the Debris Inhibitor Razur, Southern Sports, American-made product, good sponsor of ours here. But trying to educate people, I guess, is the best thing. And as you said, that's why the Debris Inhibitor was invented, to keep these pesky pellets on the field. Now, from your perspective, this is NFHS approved, which is huge for high school football. And I guess you guys are going to be a little bit more proactive here, saying that, hey, maybe some other levels, up from high school should be looking at this. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And it's not really as much NFHS approved as NFHS that we fit into their guidelines.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't necessarily give an approval or not, but we do fit into the NFHS guidelines. And I think anybody now with the advent of direct or with HD television, whenever they're watching a game, I used to say a college game on Saturday or a pro game on Sunday, but now everybody plays every day of the week. So, but anytime that you're looking at any of the upper level games, you can see that crumb rubber flying all over the place whenever a ball, if an incomplete ball hits the turf, you can see a splash of crumb rubber, or if a player gets tackled, you can see that on there, and so that's where we're trying to break into that, because certainly if it's uncomfortable for a high school or a peewee player, it would have to be uncomfortable for a collegiate or a pro player.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Joey Teichert on the line tonight from the Debris Inhibitor Razur on High School Football America. And, one of the things, and I think one of the NBC reports said 5,000, synthetic turf fields in America. That actually, I think, sounds a little low to me. I think there's probably more, and there's going to be more because of the cost of watering and droughts out here in California and all that. I think the question becomes at this point, even beyond that, and you and I were talking about before I rolled the tape here, the Razur does more. It's not just the pellets and all that. There's a lot of debris on fields per se, whether it's synthetic or real grass and all that. So you're protecting all of that stuff, right, Joey?
Oh, absolutely, and I think the last number that I've seen for synthetic turf fields is about a little over 12,000.
Oh, okay. I thought that was low. Yeah.
Yeah, it's because if you they're now cities are using them for their athletic complexes, and they're putting in 3 or 4 fields at the time whenever they're doing that. And it's because of water and everything else. But right after we came out with the old Debris Inhibitor, before we had developed the Razur, we were at the AFCA coaches show, which is a national coaches show that always takes place the first week of January, and we had a couple of coaches from America Samoa came in, and there was a couple of, I think they've got 6 or 7 high schools there, and a huge football following, and they were asking if they kept lava rocks out of the shoes. So they actually had to play on, they said that most of their fields were pebbles, and which really makes you appreciate the mainland United States.
Really,
we're able to play with that. But it was kind of funny, because in about 2 or 3 weeks after that, 60 Minutes actually did an expose on those coaches, which was neat for them to come by the booth. And that's a whole other story about all the professional athletes and collegiate athletes that come from Samoa that are football players. But yeah, it actually, we told them it actually will keep lava rocks out of your shoes as well. So.
That's a great story. Well, we always appreciate your time. Before we let you go here, I know that you've had an awesome year, that internet sales are up. What's the latest? Any new colors coming down the pike? Why is this exploding? Is it stories like the NBC News one about the pellets and things other than just keeping them out of your shoes and all that? What's new and what's great?
It is, and I'll tell you, the biggest thing is our partner at Twin City Knitting over in North Carolina. We signed, as we signed an agreement with them last year to where they're doing all of our team sales in the United States. And man, I tell you, we can't be more pleased with a group of people, because they see the vision, they see them dealing with the team dealers and the coaches on a daily basis. They saw a need for it, and then we've also got some pretty neat things that'll be coming out in 2016. But they're excited about it, and whenever you think about team socks in the United States, Twin Cities is just one of the places that everybody thinks about. So we've been fortunate and blessed to be associated with them and the great job that they're doing, and I attribute them to our growth I can attribute a lot to them for that. So
sure. Joey Teichert on the line, one of the founders of the TDI Razur, the Debris Inhibitor Razur. You can learn more at TDI Razur with a U, RAZUR.com. And if people were listening to this and they have the desire to keep those pellets out, you mentioned teams have their team dealers and that. Talk about how people can buy them. I know they can buy them directly from your website, Amazon. Give them the skinny on that.
You can buy directly from Amazon, and then also the TDI Razur and .com. And if you actually use the HSSA coupon code, you'll get a 20% discount off of that. And that's for High School Football America, of course. And also, we are an academy, and I think there's a couple other box stores that you'll be surprised that we may show up in probably February or March of next year. And then other than that, I know BSN is carrying them for team dealers, and then you can always ask your local sporting good dealer, and of course they know how to get in touch with Twin Cities, I'm sure. So.
Well, Joey, we appreciate your friendship, appreciate you coming on here. Folks, if you're just tuning in, it's a way as this story will continue to evolve, if the EPA does get involved and all that. I mean, it's going to take some time. We're not going to get rid of crumb rubber at any point soon. It's a good way to keep it out of your shoes and keep safe. Joey, thanks for joining us tonight. We appreciate it. Enjoy the upcoming holiday season. I can't believe we're almost in November.
Well, it's here before you know it, wasn't it? And I got to get I've been pretty slammed with work and all, and I hadn't had a chance to see where my South Panola Tigers are ranked in the polls. Can you give me a rundown on that real quick?
They are number 11, and Coach Pogue picked up his 200th victory 2 weeks ago. So yeah, the University of South Panola. Boy, is that a good program or what?
Yeah, they're not bad.
Seriously, now you've seen, what is it like? I mean, we've had Coach on, but what's it like? You've been to games there. Right? What's it like? I mean, they take in Batesville, they take their football a little seriously, don't they?
It's electric. I mean, it really is. And I've been fortunate to be able to be on the sidelines for some of their big games. And I'll tell you, man, there's not a better atmosphere around. And it's funny because I was able to keep up with them a little bit at the first of the year, and I think their first game they had 421 yards of offense, and I think all 420 of them were on the ground. So it's some good old Southern football is what it is.
Well, the good thing is Coach Pogue's son Tyler, the quarterback, has been able to come back. I mean, a lot of people were upset, when he had the knee injury, but he's come back and playing well. So I think the Tigers have another shot. Should I take one more poke at you here? You get a big win to your Rebs against Alabama and then Memphis. Come on, a little consistency there. Come on.
Well, I'll tell you. Well, and I saw, I guess on Facebook or something the other day where their quarterback is. They're talking about a Heisman, putting him in the Heisman race. So, Coach Fuentes up there has got it rolling.
Yeah, and, no disgrace there. No disgrace in that loss.
and I would hope that he would stick around Memphis, but I'm sure that, 7-0, 8-0 at University of Memphis, I'm sure there's a lot of programs that are going to be looking at trying to steal him away.
Oh, yeah, lots of changes at the top. We're waiting to see what happens out here at USC this year. So, anyway, Joey, thanks for joining us tonight. We appreciate it, and talk to you down the road.
Awesome. Thank you, Jeff.
Again, that's Joey Teichert, TDI Razur. I want to thank him, plus our other guest, Tom Lombardo, head coach at St. Edward in Ohio, for a great show tonight. Thanking all of our partners aside from the TDI Razur ScoreStream. Check out all the scores tonight and throughout the weekend, powered by ScoreStream at scorestream.com. Also brought to you tonight by USA Today High School Sports. Check out the Super 25 at usatodayhss.com. Echo and Crossover, great technology to make your coaching job a little bit easier and get you a competitive edge. Go to echo1612.com to learn about instant replay on your sideline 8 seconds after the play is done on your iPad. They are the inventors, the creators of the instant replay for high school football on the sidelines. You got to love it. And then Crossover with a K, crossover.com/football. Get a 5 30-minute free demo from the guys at Crossover. They will break down your game film for you, not only your teams, but they will help you out with your scouting. Saves you so much time and money. You'll get to go home and see the kids on the weekend, and we know how important that is. So check out all of our sponsors. You can do so by going to our website and clicking on the banner ads. Again, keep up with all the action throughout the weekend at highschoolfootballamerica.com. That's going to do it for now. This is Jeff Fisher saying good night and good sports from sunny Southern California. You've been listening to High School Football America on the Artist First Radio Network.